fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered.
Elden Ring is the largest, most detailed, and well-made dating simulator I have ever played in my life, beating out similar previous fantasy sim titles like The Last of Us 2 and Horizon Zero Dawn by a country mile. The side quests, just to win the heart of your chosen whole that's going to require you to try finger, is going to be long, but possibly rewarding. The dialogue options are wide-ranging and highly nuanced, and just like every other dating sim out there, if you want to know what the fuck is going on, you're gonna have to learn to read. But this is where Elden Ring decides to take a left turn where all other dating simulators take a right. What makes Elden Ring so different from genre-defining masterpieces such as I Love You, Colonel Sanders and Would You Like to Keep Being an Actress in Hollywood is the sheer length and girth of the game. The characters, the world that you couldn't even consider anything but an art piece in its own right, and the fact that FromSoft finally figured out how to animate lip movements. Where dating sims have fallen short in the past is usually their inability to cater to all forms of fetish and sexuality, but not Elden Ring. From astrological to scatological, there's options for gangbangs and a lot of different kinds of bondage, not all of which might be considered strictly legal in our current day and age, but rules be damned, this is a video game. We can do whatever we want here. You can play as a flaming homosexual, a closet homosexual, and there's even an option to play as a pansexual demi-troglodyte that can't tell which hole to put it in because every time they go near one, it dries up and starts smelling like cheese. And if you're looking to play vanilla heterosexuality, these are the stats you're looking for. But don't go getting upset because you can't expect that to matter too much when all enemies just see you as another piece of meat for them to penetrate, pound, and struggle snuggle against your will. Should you be so bold as to choose the wrong in-game options? The game is so well thought out that they even included regional diseases that are linked to different in-game locations. And on top of that, FromSoft developed a game that was so good that some of these diseases escaped into the minds of some AAA developers out there who have never in their entire career understood what constitutes making a good game. So let's start off simple, because just like my dick, it's gonna get harder from here on in. Right off the bat, Elden Ring is a blatant ripoff of almost every other dating sim that you'll find out there on the market, by hitting you with the harsh reality that you're a literal nobody.
Tarnished, are we?
And even worse, an incel.
You are maidenless.
But don't worry, as I mentioned before, your freshly risen corpse won't be celibate for very long, because you're about to get fucked. Again, and again, until you learn your goddamned lesson and actually explore the world they've given you to run around in. The first girl you meet isn't some cute childhood friend like you would expect from a dating sim, but rather some roastie who's been around the block so often that one of her eyes is completely crusted shut. She didn't even care to wipe off the rest of what someone else did. Don't be fooled by her wicked lies and her experienced tongue. She's here for one thing and one thing only: to use you to get closer to a bigger, thicker, and massively erect tree that if you squint real hard, you might be able to see off in the distance. See, you may think that you're the main protagonist of this game, but the more you play, the more you realize that you're actually just another cog in someone else's larger plan. What you're told is that your character has been brought back to life to save the world from destruction because a big piece of cauliflower in the sky told you to. You'll meet many colorful characters along the way, and there are many friends to be made, and fingerings requested of you. Be prepared to run around the map collecting items and sometimes even other characters, or at least parts of them, to unlock your chosen lover's secret areas and advance their quest. You'll be led on a winding path in a whirlwind adventure of many intersecting stories that are incredibly easy to ruin with the accidental tap of a button. All as you journey your way across a vast piece of land that the locals call the Big Finger. And by the end of your story, you'll have chosen one of your lovers to follow off into the sunset. If there's a sunset even left by the end of the game. Canonically speaking though, there's only one correct ending. You and I both know this. But because of my aforementioned fuck up the first time around, I, like most sane people in the world, decided that it was better for my tarnished character to spend eternity under the eternal starlight fucking a pile of densely packed ropes, rather than having the gods fracture my Elden Ring, getting cucked into raising someone else's child, becoming the new host for a now drug-resistant bioluminescent tapeworm, or being declared the world's edgiest 13-year-old. Oh yeah, by the way, spoilers. When it comes to gameplay, doesn't matter how you play, you didn't beat the game. Everything you do is cheating, which leads me to believe that just like your personal hopes and dreams in life, it was made to be broken. Every button press you make can feel like the difference between being a god and the world's biggest failure. Combat is nuanced, complex, and incredibly satisfying. And if you catch someone incapable of accepting personal responsibility for being trash playing this game, then know that your poor life decisions are to blame for you knowing this person in the first place. Elden Ring in a lot of ways imitates life. Bad things are going to keep happening to you, but how you respond and how you prepare yourself determines just how difficult things are going to be from here on out. What you'll find is that there's no difficulty slider in this game because everything you choose to do, use, or completely ignore is the difficulty slider. I give this game a straight 10 crying journalists who couldn't even locate the tutorial out of 10. Incredible. PvP ranges between an epic battle of honorable basement dwellers all the way to find that hidden little AFK bitch farming souls in a corner or on a rooftop. There's plenty to muck around with here and about 1 million different YouTube videos in the last month to show you how. The PvP alone deserves its own score. 20 out of 10, amazing. Unless someone's using Moonveil or Rivers of Blood. But the one thing that really brings this game down is that it's just too bad that the UI is so utterly unusable. There's no microtransactions for me to waste all my money on to gain arbitrary ranks that no one cares about. There's also no components of this game that were made intentionally terrible so that I'm motivated to either put my hand back in my wallet or a gun in my mouth. FromSoft really dropped the ball on this one by focusing on gameplay and treating gamers like paying customers instead of some kind of resource to milk as much cash out of as possible. I mean, what are you even doing with your time in 2022 if you're not robbing everyone blind with massive chunks of the game hidden behind some gigantic paywall? Negative 100 million social credit points out of 10. What a pile of garbage. I love it. You can even send and receive help from other players going through the same journey as you. I recommend that you read each and every single note you come across for maximum immersion. Sometimes you may even see the image silhouette of a red phantom flickering in and out of your world. Don't worry, that's not your schizophrenia medication wearing off. You've accidentally touched a bloodstain, allowing you to witness a real live human on the same journey as you fuck up in the dumbest way possible. You get to laugh at them before doing something uniquely stupid too, so that the next person may come along, touch your personal blood puddle, and get an instant playback cam of your own death to laugh at before the cycle begins anew with their death. There's plenty of other unique features to discover about Elden Ring, but I'm not going to ruin them because I don't have the time to write you a full-length novel. So you're just going to have to go and experience them for yourself. But it's safe to say that this game is a masterpiece, where you do everything in your power to master this piece of shit. Now on to the criticisms. I've ruined more questlines in-game than I have relationships in real life by accidentally stumbling into an area I'm not supposed to be in yet, triggering characters to move or completely disappear without me even knowing what caused it. I don't care that much about these little meat puppets and their lives, but I do care about getting decent gear. And getting locked off from some of the best gear in the game means I resort to being a murder hobo by default if there's an item I really want. And I very much don't approve of this whole god being of two bodies and two genders at the same time. Not because I particularly care or have something specific against people who live their lives that way, but now I have to sit through 250 hours of a lore explanation just to figure out what the fuck is going on and where exactly I have to stand, doing a poorly coordinated YMCA dance to bring out some dude's inner goddess. Also, these tinnitus-inducing children's concerts have given me a newfound respect for both my volume control button and the many colorful swamps contained in this toilet bowl adventure. But on a more serious note, camera angles are a bitch to manage when you're fighting something massive that's moving around like it just pounded back a line of coke off of Malenia's infected ass crack, and this problem only gets worse when the boss room is tiny. If this game is all about pattern recognition where you improve by learning the boss attacks and telegraphed movements, then I'd very much like to be able to see more than the girthy underbelly of the creature trying to kill me. Other than that, and including all performance issues, all my other complaints are minor, and I don't care about them enough to have changed my gameplay experience. The game is incredible, and it'll likely be a decade or more before we see something as good as this again. If we ever get to see something as good as this again. Everything feels on point. The music, the sound effects, the entire part of the game you missed because you didn't actually have to go there. All those tears from all those AAA developers out there that can just top up your flasks for you without you needing to sit down at another grace site. The graphics, the story you actually have to investigate to figure out, and of course, the playstyle variety, which, like I said before, is also where the difficulty slider is conveniently hidden. To the people who continually bitch that this game is difficult, I'm giving you a hint here. If you came to this video wanting to know whether this game is worth your time or not, then decide for yourself. I'm not your dad and therefore I can't tell you what to do. But if you like spicy combat, trying to find a maiden who won't set herself on fire just to get away from you, fantastic graphics, questionable hitboxes, a massive world to explore, item crafting, hidden lore, a game you'll never truly beat, fire that kills and lava that tickles, then I recommend giving this game a try. If you're not such a big fan of relationship simulators, having to choose where to go both in life and in game, and you're incapable of accepting responsibility for your unavoidable, inevitable failures, then I recommend Zoloft, Prozac, or any other readily available mental anesthesia to assist you in handling your uncontrollable emotional states, likely caused by your poor taste in video games. In summary, Elden Ring is a magical experience for both new players looking to learn how to not be a little bitch for the rest of their lives, and a welcome addition for other Soulsborne enjoyers looking for the next evolution in the genre, but ensuring that no one else knows just how much they like the game. And just as an added tip, you and I both know that they're not done yet. There's bound to be a future DLC where we get to find out whether you should have worn a condom or not after becoming Elden Lord. Expect to hear the words, "This game is just like Elden Ring," from game developers as they try desperately to link their buggy collection of mangled code that they call a game to the success of this franchise for the next few years. As always, big thank to all my subscribers, both old and new. And a special thank to Wubuntu Gimbane and Christopher Hamlet.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
For sacrificing their hard-earned money to my Patreon, helping keep my African internet line powered exclusively by child soldiers rescued from Oprah Winfrey's orphanage. More content soon. Bye.
Feel free to go off and die in a ditch somewhere.
I'm talking 24.